He dreamed of being burned by the raging flames. When he woke up, the sweat dripping from his forehead had wet his cheeks. Or are they actually tears? He inadvertently pretended to wipe his face with his right hand. It's the waiting room of a hospital. Amidst the soft music, nurses with smell of disinfectant appeared from one direction and disappeared in another. His number hasn't appeared on the electronic screen.
"It might take hours,"
the old man sitting in the chair next to him said. However, he just made a few casual responses. If he began a conversation with this old man, it would take forever. He looked away from the old man, pretending to fiddle with his phone.
"Are you doing rehab? It's not easy."
The old man still talked to him. "No, I'm here to get some medicine because of leg pain," he said in a low voice while looking at his phone screen, clearly expressing that he doesn't want to talk to the old man.
"The cost of medicine isn't a small amount, right? The government aid isn't much either. Here won't cover up the price of your injuries,"
the old man said in a soft voice. He lifted his face and turned to the old man. The old man's felt hat is low, and he's wearing a suit that looks very valuable. There's an old vertical scar on the right side of his mouth. When the old man smiled, the scar deformed. "Who are you?" he replied in an aggressive tone. "How do you know about me? Are you a reporter?"
"I'm a good-willed third party."
The old man's wound deformed.
"I'm someone who sympathizes and resonates with you."
"Oh, right. A missionary, right? Go find someone else. I'm so tired of you guys who deceive the weak."
"No, we have nothing to do with religion. Of course, we're also not from the media."
"Then who are you?" He finally started yelling.
"We are this."
The old man handed out a small black business card. Crime Victims Relief Committee.
"Yes, and we have nothing to do with the government. We're an independent non-profit organization. I hope you can understand."
That's something similar to a cult, right? You claim to be a group therapy class or a nursing seminar, approaching people in a caring manner, and illegally charge money in the name of tuition. Sorry, sir. You have to go find easier ones to deal with. He said this dismissively, and then planned to get up from his chair and leave. At this time,
"Don't you want revenge?"
the old man's whisper reached his ears. What did you say? He couldn't help but stand still and turn around.
"We are very interested in the depth of your darkness. And you do have a very deep and rich darkness within you."
The old man touched the brim of his hat as if adjusting its position, but his eyes are still hidden in the shadows.
"You are living a life that can hardly be described as happy. But before, you didn't have to worry about your livelihood. You lived a very ordinary life. You didn't cause trouble to others. You had a decent job. And you were loved by some people. However, 5 years ago, a crime was committed. It took away everything in your life, unceremoniously, unreasonably, and didn't leave anything at all. Did you do anything bad? No, you were innocent. At least, you didn't do anything to make your life a complete ruin."
The old man's voice shook his heart. Unbelievably, that voice sounded almost the same as his own inner voice.
"What we provide is not a physical treatment. We leave that to the easier ones. We help others regain their lost lives. Our organization can give back all the things that have been taken away."
Taking back my own life?
"You have this right. No, it's an obligation. It's also for those who died because of that hateful crime."
The old man showed an extraordinary act with a confident tone, enough to refresh his depressed spirit. The old man's words made him think that he is the deprived protagonist. The spotlight hasn't gone out yet. Moreover, it doesn't exist to illuminate others, but to illuminate his own future. But he smiled bitterly and put aside this delusion. After that day, There have been many people coming and going by me. The police, prosecutors, lawyers, doctors, insurance salesmen. But still, no one managed to save me. And now, I'm attracting good-willed third parties. I'm so fed up by this. If I have to thank someone, I'd thank the doctors. At least they allowed me to stand up in this world again. But that's about it. I'm just a lingering corpse. The hope that was once in my heart, it died on that day. He turned his back to the old man and left his seat.
I'll be waiting for you in the park outside. If you're interested in our relief, please come by.
The old man's voice came from behind, and his figure disappeared in the direction of the small shop. His involvement in that crime was simply the result of bad luck. 5 years ago, near his home, there were successive cases of arson. The surrounding security cameras didn't capture the criminal, and the unrecognizable criminal behavior left the neighborhood in a state of panic. The arson continued for days. It was only small fires at first, but one night, it suddenly developed into a major one. Perhaps the dry air was one of the reasons. 2 residential houses were completely burnt down, and one of them was the one his family lived in. He, his wife, and their son of 2 years, all 3 suffered severe burns, but he was the only one to be saved in the end. Several arson cases still occurred after this, but under the directions of a certain detective, the cases were quickly solved. The arson sites were connected by lines to form a star. That was the focus of the detective. In the center of that star, there lived an astrologer who made a living by divinations. The detective immediately went to visit the astrologer's house, but the man had already been burned to death. He also left a suicide note beside him with inexplicable content. I set the fires to correct the orbit of the stars. The incident ended with the death of the suspect. He was confused when he heard this fact. The blade that has been sharpened by the grindstone of hatred was supposed to one day stab the criminal. He originally planned it this way, but then he heard that the criminal no longer exists, which made him ignorant of his anger. He can't let out his anger on anyone, and he had no face to meet his dead wife and son with. 5 years after that, his physical condition improved a lot, but his heart was dead. He lost his job and barely survived on state compensation. He thought that this dispensable life would continue in the future, unrelated to words such as purpose. Until he heard the word revenge that the old man had just said. It was like a ray of light that appeared in the darkness. Before that, no one had brought him such light. After all, no one understood how deep his darkness is. Because what he hoped was not to disperse this darkness, but to find a sign to guide him in this dark abyss.
I knew you would come,
the old man said, the scar on the corner of his mouth deformed. In the park during the day, there are young mothers pushing baby strollers and boys playing football together. They make cheerful sounds. The sunlight shining through the leaves on the bench, and the figure of the old man sitting on it is harmony with the landscape. Because I don't think there will be any loss to just listen. He sat down beside the old man and said,
That's right. Unlike lawyers and therapists, we don't charge for just talking.
Then who are you guys?
We are an organization that provides relief to victims who are entangled in unfortunate crimes.
Don't beat around the bush. What is it actually? You'll help me by doing something like revenge on my behalf?
That's a misunderstanding. As I said earlier, our purpose is to give you relief. If you have any doubts about this concept, I advise you to reconsider it now.
You really aren't speaking clearly, old man. Now then, what can you do for me?
We will tell you who the real perpetrator is. The perpetrator in the case that landed you in the place where you are now.
Huh? The real perpetrator? An unbelievable word appeared. He didn't even think about this. Wasn't the arson case done by the astrologer who wasn't in his right mind? Who is it? Who's the real perpetrator?
Wait a moment, please.
The old man raised a hand to stop him.
If you want me to tell you, there's one condition.
Here it is. He increases vigilance. Is this so-called condition just money? What's the condition?
For this real perpetrator, we want you to take your revenge on him.
Revenge?
Yes, you must take revenge on the real perpetrator and let them die.
You mean I should kill them?
Yes.
Such bloody conversation is taking place in the corner of that quiet and peaceful park. No one is eavesdropping on their conversation. Old man, your organization must have investigated me thoroughly. In this case, you should understand, right? There is no way I will refuse this offer.
Your words are very reassuring.
The old man nodded sharply. Well, tell me quickly, who is the real perpetrator?
Before this, we must let you understand our intentions.
Looks like the roundabout conversation will have to continue for some time. Indeed, he couldn't understand the reason why this mysterious organization is encouraging him to take revenge.
Revenge, we call it relief. That is, relief for you. And it cannot be anyone else but you who is to carry out this action. Make no mistake in that. Do you agree?
So I should kill them myself, right? Of course, that's what I planned from the beginning.
Then let's move on. There are 3 essential elements of relief. Do you know what they are?
The old man's inflected way of speaking made him feel anxious, but he still patiently responded to the stranger's words. Who knows? I'm new to this. If you can tell me, it will be a big help.
Of course. The first element is determination. About this, we can say that you already have it. Am I right?
Yes.
The next thing that's indispensable is money. In this world, no matter what you do, money is essential. Especially when you want to do something this big. You'll need a lot of money. Do you have enough?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Very well. In order to pursue your relief, we are ready to provide funds. As for the amount, there is no particular cap set.
Providing funds without a cap. Things are getting more and more suspicious.
And the third requirement, that is technology. To kill a person, you need the appropriate techniques. You understand? Most people, including you, are laymen, but we can provide you with the technology that allows you to kill the target without being noticed. Using this technology, you can achieve a perfect crime.
This is really meticulous.
Except,
The old man paused as if he was about to tell something important.
regarding technology, there is a fee.
Huh?
That means you need to buy the technology from us.
As I thought, you still want to squeeze money out of the weak. He looked like he is not satisfied and was about to get up. This isn't so complicated after all. It's just a scam.
Calm down a little, please. As I said just now, we will provide you with unlimited funds. You can use these funds to buy the technology.
What do you mean?
In other words, when implementing relief, you don't have to pay out of your pocket at all.
I don't get it. If that's the case, then what's the cost for the technology for?
This is the most important point of relief. Relief is the great reversal of your entire life. It should be quite dramatic, incomparable to the kind of fiction in documentaries have.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is that some people are looking forward to your big reversal. By the way, do you like betting on horses? Alas, there's no record of gambling hobbies in your information. I think it's hard for you to understand what those people who are keen on betting on horses are like. There are many people in this world who are moved to tears by the way horses gallop for first place. This is the same. There's some people who are interested in the process of vengeful people sprinting towards the end, towards the goal of a perfect crime. It can make them feel entertained.
What are you talking about?
That is to say, there are some good people who have become bored with every hobby in the world. The last pleasure they find is precisely the great reversal performed by people like you who have a shadow in their hearts. Relief.
The old man's words left him dumbfounded. He felt as if he'd stepped into a world that he shouldn't have. He probably understood what the old man said. There's really such a thing? Are you planning to use my revenge as a game?
Simply put, it's close to that.
The old man lowered his voice and laughed.
Attracting sponsors by providing high-quality content. Accepting funding from sponsors and providing more complete content. Our relief is established like this.
In other words, some guys behind you have too much money and time to spend, right?
As you can see, this fact only explains the source of the funds. After all, our purpose is to provide you with relief. We have the same interest as the investors, that's all. And the big players in various fields are very interested in relief. Therefore, we're able to also benefit from it.
Is it really so? Perhaps the so-called relief that the old man is talking about is superficial, and in fact they only regard the act of revenge as entertainment. However, to him, that doesn't matter. The purpose of killing the real perpetrator is just a process. This is just a challenge with the ultimate goal of getting his life back. Will there be cameras following me around everywhere 24/7, like in documentaries?
No, there will be no cameraman accompanying you. I will explain the rules in this regard to you later.
I see. Then hurry up and tell me who the real perpetrator is.
I haven't finished explaining yet.
What else? He couldn't help but let out a voice of dissatisfaction.
I haven't said one very important point. You will get your funds and be given the task of killing the target. But just that would be too hollow. For example, if the target was walking at night and you used that to approach him from behind and kill them with a blunt weapon, this would indeed be revenge. But it will definitely not be relief.
What do you mean?
Redemption is something that must be passed through a trial. Only through difficult trials can true relief be ushered.
What?
Let me be more specific.
The old man corrected his sitting posture and turned to him.
As I said just now, you need to buy the technology that we will provide for you. For example, let's imagine it as cards. We have several cards that are very suitable for the perfect crime. Cards, such as murder weapons, cards that specify the location of the crime, cards on how to create impossible crimes. Depending on the effectiveness and usefulness of these cards, we have set different costs to them. Then you buy these cards and design a deck set to proceed with the relief.
I don't quite understand what you mean.
I'll take the previous relief as a reference example. In that case, the revenge seeker purchased the school from us as a location card. In addition, he also bought a metal bat as a murder weapon card. The locked room served as a technique for evading suspicion.
Locked room? Can you buy this kind of thing?
Yes, there is nothing you can't buy if you invest money. By the way, in that case, the cost of school was 40 million. The cost of the metal bat was 3 million. And the locked room was 100 million. So the total cost was 143 million. The currency unit was all in yen.
Wait a sec. The prices aren't right. Why does the metal bat cost a full 3 million yen? You can find this kind of thing at any sports store and buy it for less than 10,000 yen.
The murder weapons we provide have such value, please consider it this way. Did you know that a murder weapon from a random sporting goods store will quickly expose your whereabouts, the shape, model, retail store of the product, and there are also surveillance cameras in stores. All this information will expose you. However, the murder weapons we prepare do not have these problems.
Ah, I see.
Okay, the next point is very important. Regarding the trial I just said, we give you a chance to take revenge, and at the same time, we will also summon a detective to track you down.
A detective?
That's right. According to the total cost of the deck, we will select a detective. The higher the amount you spend on the deck, the higher the rank of the detective summoned. Conversely, you can lower the cost, and so the rank of the detective will be lower. But the cards used to create the perfect crime may not be enough.
What the hell? I have to let you summon someone that will track me down?
Yes, we believe that only on the basis of fair behavior can there be true relief. You can only get pure relief and satisfaction by facing a detective in a trial. If you cannot agree with this idea, that just means there's a clear disagreement between you and us. And then we have to report to our superiors that this arrangement has been canceled.
I don't care what you guys think. But I also think that if you take the despicable means, even if you achieve your goal, then you won't have that salvation feeling. He shrugged. Basically, I have to complete my revenge fair and square, right?
That's right. I really didn't misplace my expectations on you. This also means what we really want to accomplish is not for you to succeed in your revenge, but to successfully pass the detective trial. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Very good. Let us review this series of processes. First, you use our funds to purchase our technology. Then, you use the purchase content to form a plan as a deck and enter the implementation phase. In addition, the content of the deck formulated will be delivered to the selected detective in the form of a challenge letter.
Hey, wait a minute. Challenge letter? You want to announce the crime that's about to be committed to the detective? This feels very detrimental to me.
We just hope for the challenge to carry out as fairly as possible. It's a competition, after all. It's most important to design a deck with these circumstances in mind.
The old man's scar was deformed.
The detective will be informed in advance of only the deck you have made. Of course, your name and current residence will not be written.
Even so, the situation is quite unfavorable, right? Is it better to try to control the cost of the technology determined by the deck and make the detective's rank lower? Or is it better to spend the funds drastically and use the techniques to create the perfect crime?
Next, a tiny chip is installed on the envelope of the challenge letter. An electrical signal is emitted the moment the envelope is opened. The moment the detective opens the envelope, the signal will be sent to begin. Your victory condition is to kill the target and not be exposed by the detective within 168 hours. The moment the time limit sets in, your relief is complete. At that moment, depending on the expenses you spend on the deck, we will return the corresponding amount to you. And after that, we will activate protection procedures to ensure that you will not be tracked down as a criminal. If you want, you can even write off your past and start your new life from scratch.
Is it really possible to do it? This was the most important part for him. Starting a new life from scratch. If this kind of thing can really be done.
It is possible.
Just this sentence was enough. If I lose, what'll happen then?
You really shouldn't think about what will happen if you lose. But I can't not tell you, because that would not be fair. Having said that, it is roughly just as you imagine. First, your fail conditions. If the detective points you out as the criminal within 168 hours after they open the envelope, you will fail and your relationship with us will be completely severed. You will be arrested by the police as an ordinary criminal, and there will be no assistance from us. Besides, telling the police about our situation won't result in anything no matter how much you try. Please understand this.
So that means losing is inconsequential.
We are the ones who bring relief. Although our relief is perfect, unfortunately, there are some people who cannot get it. These people are often not mentally prepared to receive relief.
Are there other punishments?
Regarding the expenses of the deck you spend, you have to pay us back the corresponding funds.
So that's how it is. But it's not possible. Even if you sell me that, I won't be able to pay.
In this case, we will make you take various insurances in advance, and the beneficiaries will be people we arrange.
Does that mean if I fail, I'll die before being caught by the police?
Yes, but only when you can't make the payment.
You already know I can't afford the money.
We will not hesitate to use any means to recover the expenses you have spent.
The old man's expression did not change.
If you want to avoid this situation, then you have to prevail over the detective.
Are there any other rules that I have to pay attention to? Tell me.
This is the most important rule. Killing the detective is not allowed. In addition to the target, you're free to kill as many people as you want. But for the detective we will summon, you must let them survive. As long as the detective's death occurs within the prescribed 168 hours, then you will be deemed to have failed.
Even if they died because of an accident?
Yes. Basically, harming the detective is also forbidden.
How strict?
A game without an opponent has no value to watch, right?
Getting rid of the detective who's in the way at the beginning won't work. After all, the organization wants to see him competing with the detective.
As for the other details of the rules, I'll let you know when your trial is finalized.
The old man turned his face to him again.
The fair challenge to take back your life. We call it the Black Challenge. As long as you can defeat the detective, you will have a new future. What do you think?
The answer to this question has more or less already been decided. I'll tell you who the real perpetrator is. That prevented him from shrugging this whole thing off. If a person who's made him so miserable is still alive without punishment, it's impossible for him to let them go. And they can only apologize with death. If I don't say I agree, you won't tell me the truth about the arson case 5 years ago.
Yes.
This is bait. This is probably the bait to lead him into the game. But this bait is very tempting. For him who is nothing but an empty shell, this bait can almost be called redemption. If you refuse this stranger at this time, he'll probably regret it for a lifetime. He'll definitely continue to blame himself for not accepting the challenge and just living a life of nothing. If so, then he should simply give it a go, instead of living like a dead man.
I like the look in your eyes.
The old man's shoulders twitched, and he laughed quietly.
Next, although I don't know if it can be used for your reference, let me tell you our data anyway. In the Black Challenges we have held so far, the detective's victory rate is 28%. Only 28%. In other words, among those who used our technology for revenge, nearly 70% completed a perfect crime.
Is this number real?
They are detectives, but the ranks aren't always true to their skills. Some even receive the challenge letter without realizing the nature of the case, so they sleep through it. But hey, those are particularly lucky cases.
With a 30% failure rate, will I win the lottery? How's that possible? I'll draw. It'll be my victory.
It seems that your answer has been decided. We will wait for one night. If you have calmed down on this moonlit night and still haven't lost the will to be challenged, then come here at 10 a.m. You think you can do that?
He nodded and agreed with the old man.
I think you understand that you should not tell others about this. Not only the police, but even acquaintances. If you tell anyone, we won't appear in front of you again.
I know.
Then, see you soon.